What's up, guys? Welcome back to Keeping Up with the X-Men. And if you're curious why I've been gone for so long, well, first off, there was the hiatus that this channel takes. And I guess, to be fair, I didn't spell that one out. I kind of assumed that most people coming to this channel were coming from Fandom Night. Fandom Night takes a break right at about Christmas, and then they usually don't produce content until about like January 10th or somewhere in there. So this channel kind of did the same thing. Well, I meant to come back earlier, like right after New Year's. But as soon as New Year's was over, I walked into my house and I could still see my breath. It was a major problem. I opened the door, I shut it, and I stood there for a second and thought, wow, it's not much better in here. And then I blew, and I realized that I could see my breath. And I was like, oh no. So I go over to the thermostat, and lo and behold, it is 31 degrees in the house and dropping. So I'm like, oh no. What does that mean? Well, that means that the Iceman cometh, because it was outrageously cold in my place. The motor blew on my furnace, and I had to replace that, and it was a nightmare. It was a pain. I had no heat whatsoever for like 2.5 days. But I finally got that fixed, so I'm back, and it's time to keep up with the X-Men again, and this is our first discussion piece, our first news type of thing. Well, look, guys, I'm going to go ahead and drop this information. Now, if you've been keeping up with the X-Men, if this is something that you guys read, a good portion of you guys probably know this. But I know from experience that there are people out there that just read comic books and don't necessarily follow the industry. So this is news to them. I know that I've been in that situation multiple times where I've read a specific book and then the book doesn't come out for a long time, and then I ask my guy at my comic shop, hey, what's going on? I never got so-and-so book. I'm probably like 10 books behind by now. It's kind of actually irritating me. And he's like, actually, that book was canceled. Well, just so you guys don't run into the same problem, Iceman is canceled. It is one of 3 books that have been canceled, and there will be a video for each one of these talking about the fact that it is canceled. This is sad to me. I was enjoying Iceman. Like, I liked it. It took me a while. Like, it took me about 2 books to really get into it. First book kind of set the stage for me, and then the next book dropped me in, and I started enjoying it. And it kills me. The thing is that losing this book it's not necessarily a step backwards. I think that we're making progress in things like the LGBTQ, but it kind of sucks that we had this good superhero. And he's a good superhero. He's one of the heavy hitters. He's an original X-Man. And we give him to the LGBTQ community, and he's a solid character. He has good background, and the story makes sense. The reason he's been a womanizer and a player for so long is because he was never happy with what he was doing in the first place. That legitimately makes sense. I even know people that have lived like that bounced girlfriend to girlfriend to girlfriend to girlfriend, and then later on in life, around 30, 34 years old, all of a sudden they stop and they say, you know, I may have figured out why I can't keep a girlfriend. And this book was attacking those issues, and it was well done. And it was talking about what it was that they went through coming out of the closet and things like that. And it was a well-crafted book. I was impressed, and I loved seeing the feedback at the end of the book. And it's just, this book was solid. It's a sad loss. But let me just say that the reason that this book is canceled is because the single issues weren't selling. Guys, this is going to be beating a dead horse at some point, because I'm going to mention this when books fail. If you want these books to continue, if you want them to keep going, it is absolutely imperative that you buy the single issues, not wait for the collection issues, not wait for the trade paperbacks. Yes, it is cheaper to buy the trade paperbacks. I understand. Everybody likes to save some money. But in waiting, what happens is the numbers are low, and Marvel does not see that people are actually reading or caring about the book. So all of a sudden we're 8 issues in. All of a sudden we're 8 issues in. And then out of those 8 issues, all of a sudden we put out the graphic novel, if you will. And then that graphic novel, that sells. And they say, well, that's a good sign. So they put out another 5 books in a row of the original of the single issues, and they can't move the single issues off the shelf. And if the single issues don't sell, the single issues are the things that support the industry. That is what they use as their marker to know what they should focus on and what they shouldn't. And that's what happened here, guys. People were waiting for the collections instead of actually subscribing and getting these issues as they came out. And this happens all the time. You see it all the time. And it's not just your fault or my fault or whoever's. If you weren't buying the single issues, if you were waiting for the graphic novels, in a way, it is kind of your fault. And I don't mean to put it on your shoulders, but this is the truth of it. The single issues not selling is what canceled this book. It was not an idea that this book was only going to go this long and tell these these like 3 stories and then the book was going to cancel out. They don't work that way. And proof of the matter that they don't work that way is look at something like DC Bombshells. It was meant to be like 6 books and it was supposed to be over. But the single issues sold, so it just kept going. And that is the way this industry works. You speak with your money. The single issues that sell are the issues that are going to continue. And that just didn't happen here, guys. And we lost a very good book. Now, we are getting books that will take its place, but that doesn't mean that they'll be of the same quality, and it doesn't mean that it's even something that you care about. And it sucks that this Iceman is now going to get lost to a team somewhere, maybe. And we don't even know, because now he's even moved, and he's got the boyfriend, and you're going to have to give that to a team that can somehow continue that story, and maybe they can't continue that story, and just to get him on a team, they might now cast out the boyfriend. And so he might lose his boyfriend just because comic books are comic books, and you have to find a way to put him on the team, and he can't be encumbered by some side character that this writer doesn't want to deal with, so he might get rid of him. This sucks. This is a massive hit, not just to the book in general, because the book is no longer with us, but it's going to be a hit to the character as well. Guys, please support your single issues. Most every comic book shop will give you a pull list for $20. Less than. There's a lot of comic book shops that only require you to have 3 books on a pull list. And guys, X-Men, now's the time. Like, if you want to read 3 X-Men books, oh, please do. Like, I'm telling you guys, you have to support these single books, and this is why. All right, guys, that's all you need to know. Sadly, you are now, well, okay, this is not the last video. Right now, you are all caught up with Iceman. After, I believe, the next 2 videos that I drop for the Iceman, you will be forever caught up with Iceman. Later on.